So thank you for joining me. Hopefully you can see this okay. I'm a bit a ways away. You might need to zoom in, but I want you to be able to see all of it. So let's see if we can figure out from the scriptures where the 10 kings are from. So some of this will be review from what we've talked about the past couple of days. Some of this is some additional verses that haven't yet been shared. I try to include and will be including those Bible passages that I think it references. The issue with trying to determine where the 10 kings are from is that if you ask one person, you'll get an answer. If you ask another person, you'll get another answer, because scripture doesn't necessarily tell us. And I think some of it, and the things that we've shared already, I think some of that is logical and it makes sense. And you know me, I am big into logic. I often say that nobody is using logic and reason anymore. And I think a lot of this will make sense. But to be honest, some of it, we just can't get there. So it is easier for me. This has honestly been the most challenging thing scripture-wise that I've ever put together. If you recall, when I used my large dry erase board and we spent multiple days and I turned it perpendicular and I gave you the sequence of events for the second coming to disprove the pre-trib rapture, that was easier than this. Disproving a pre-trib rapture is easier than this. Proving that Enoch and Elijah did die scripturally was easier than this. Disproving the Trinity scripturally was easier than this. This honestly has been hours and hours and weeks of work. And I'm not telling you that because I am looking for sympathy. I'm just saying we can't get there. I have looked at these passages and looked and looked and looked. And so we're just going to continue on. We're going to get as far as we can. And I'm not the type of person who's going to say that this is something that it isn't, because I don't do that. And if you've been with me a long time, you know that I don't do that. I'm going to take you as far as I can take you. This is one of those things that I wanted to look into, because people say, oh, this is one of the kings. And, we hear this, oh, it's Iran and it's Africa and it's the United States. And we hear this, right? And people have these ideas, but it's speculative. It's Turkey, it's Egypt, etc. I mean, this is what people do. This is what they say. People will say, well, the sea in Revelation, that when it talks about the beast coming out of the sea, that represents the Gentiles. Maybe it does. Other people say it's a literal sea. I mean, it's just hard. It's really, really hard. So if you're looking for me to give you some specific countries, I will not do that. Also, some of the issues is that people say that Daniel was referencing things that have already happened and not something in the future. Now, I tend to think that Daniel is something that is in the future, because when we get to Daniel 12 verse 1, it says, at that time, Michael shall stand up. So that hasn't happened yet. So I tend to think that everything in Daniel is prophetic. It is something to come. It has not happened yet. All right, so we're going to start. Let's first start with Revelation 17 verse 12, and here's what it says. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. I wanted to start with that. We're looking at the passages in Revelation 17 today. And the whole purpose of talking about the beasts that come out of the sea, and that there's the dragon in heaven that has 7 heads and 10 horns, is that the one out of the sea and the red dragon, both of those have 10 horns. And which one is it talking about? And as we discussed, the red dragon with the 7 heads and 10 horns from Revelation 12, that all happens in heaven. So I don't believe we can use that, but I think there's a place for that. And we're going to talk about that as we go through this. I will be numbering these as parts, because that's the only way to do this, to keep it all in track. So we are almost at 5 minutes. Join me tomorrow. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.